Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Grace, Peace, and Balance radio show by Gabby Abdelgadir. And I hope you all have been staying safe and staying healthy and keeping your vibration and your frequency high. That's all we need right now. And today I have an incredible guest, a guy that I have highly respect for. His name is Ryan Dunphy, and I will be posting all his information on Podbean and on YouTube for those of you who may need to get in touch with him, and I really advise that you do. So I'm going to read his brief bio right now. He's a lot more, but he's got a brief bio for me right now. So Ryan is a corporate guest speaker and stress reduction expert. He has many years of health promotion experience working with individuals and teams across the nation using his unique brand of positivity and motivation. His career has involved corporate fitness, medially-based fitness centers, and injury prevention seminars for a Fortune 500 company. Today, Ryan will be talking with us about how to manage our time through prioritization, simplification, and delegation. His hard work, play hard, his work hard, play hard mentality is a good match for our community. Isn't that well said? Ryan, welcome to my podcast.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gabby. I appreciate you. I want to take a second to celebrate you. I've gotten a chance to know you over, I think it's been about a year
A
now,
year, yeah.
and I'm just so grateful to know you and the people I've met through you and just the energy that you bring every day. Love that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh my God, I'm honored. Yeah, you're like my one of my top favorites from the last year, definitely. So Ryan, tell me a little bit about, I know who you are right now, but I really love to know what you were like growing up. What
Yeah.
was your dream and all that? Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, I was actually quite quiet as a kid, and now I'm a guest speaker at corporations. So,
Oh God, really?
yeah, I was pretty reserved. It wasn't until college that I kind of really broke out of that shell and, just introduced myself to random people and made friends kind of anywhere I went.
Mhm.
I was a little bit reserved, but college helps to kind of break that out. And I was in a new environment. I was around all new people. I was in a dorm where there were 10 guys all sharing pretty much the same space. So it was an amazing experience. And even taking a public speaking class, we all
Okay.
kind of, we put in for that class together when the online registration happened, thinking this is going to be so much easier. It's just us. We can talk in front of each other. Well,
Yeah,
no, that backfired
practice.
real quickly because if you made a mistake in class, your
Mhm.
buddies never let you forget it at dinner time.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful because we all had that benefit of being able to tackle that hurdle of speaking in front of people in a serious way that, they're making faces at you, or you're going to see these people for the rest of your life versus a group of strangers. It makes it a lot easier to speak
I
in front of people you've either never met or listening to a podcast that you can't see. So it was a fun kind of experiment in adversity we didn't realize we were getting into.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you were like, you were very quiet. Does that mean you were an introvert? Is that,
I guess you could say that.
yeah.
I know everybody is kind of a blend, but
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I'm an introvert that also likes to do extroverted things. I love
Okay.
people. I love being around people, but I also really love solo time in nature. That's a big thing for me
Good.
is
Yeah.
hiking, and I have no problem going for myself by myself. And oftentimes I love that the most because it's
Yeah.
just quiet.
Yeah. Me now, that is my number one favorite, being alone
Right,
and being quiet. I think you see from my posts on Facebook, like I like to go on nature walks alone,
right.
period. Yeah. So that's my sanity time, especially in these hard times. So, what was your dream though? What did you want to become when you were growing? Like when you were in college, what was your dream? Your dream was not becoming a coach, was it at the time?
Yeah, so growing up, I was very active. I played pretty much every sport, and
Sports.
I was always hiking and camping and fishing and, just doing general movement.
Hmm.
And I had some encouragement to go into the health promotion world. So
Okay.
I went to school for health and exercise science with a concentration in health promotion and fitness management. I
Okay.
got into corporate fitness and realized real quickly that one step up on the ladder was going to put me in an office running reports, doing nothing I went to school for.
Uh-huh.
So I
Oh.
decided to go into medically based fitness. So I found a job with a hospital system in New Jersey where I helped to run two medically based fitness centers. So we housed cardiac rehab and physical therapy, but it was also the full gambit of
Mm-hmm.
everybody. We had a triathlon club.
Mm-hmm.
So it was literally everybody that you could imagine under one roof. And it was a wonderful experience. And that's what lit me up at the time, was helping people with prevention, because I dealt
Prevention.
with a lot of people in cardiac rehab and physical therapy that either did not manage their stress or mismanaged their stress, and it compounded over time, led to a knee replacement or double knee replacement or a cardiac event or low back pain or low back surgery, all these different things that boil back to how do we manage our stress. And in my research, even more, stress is a constant and a variable at the same time,
Yeah.
but time is that one finite resource, and everybody has about 16 hours every day. And it's how do we manage that time? How do we prioritize within that, that
Mm-hmm.
dictates the outcome of
The
how we
outcome.
feel on a daily basis, what we can do with our life, how our health is, how our wealth and how our relationships are. It all
Mm-hmm.
boils back to how we use time.
Yeah, absolutely. That is such a big issue that people are facing right now, is
Right,
managing work-life balance and time and family, and then you've got your job, or whether you're an entrepreneur or you're on a full-time job.
right.
Some people do both, like me, and then you still have to do the housework, you still have to do the stuff. So that's that. So how do you manage your day? Give me a day in Ryan's life example.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, I just want to touch on work-life balance,
Yeah.
because that's a big point of discussion in the corporate workshops.
Yeah.
And when I think of work-life balance, it's the way a lot of people think about it. Of, 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening, I'm at work,
Yeah.
and then I go home and I'm not at work. And back in the day, if you were Fred Flintstone, that whistle would blow and you would slide off the back of your brontosaurus, and
Yeah.
you were done. You were not at the quarry. You were not at work. You were
Yeah.
fully present at home.
Yeah.
Now we're recording this episode in 2021,
Yeah.
and I want to help everybody to reframe it to be work-life synergy, because with these devices, smartphones and iPads and laptops, we're never truly not working, and we're never truly working. So
Mm-hmm.
there's that synergy there where we take work home with us, but we also bring our family to work.
To work. Yeah.
So it's how do we establish a healthy synergy to say, I'm getting all my things done. It may not look like a 9 to 5 anymore. It may be a little bit before the kids get up in the morning. It may be I'm taking a break to work with my kids for homeschooling. We're still in the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I'm available for meetings. And then, maybe I take a break and take Joey to baseball practice. And then, I'm working on some follow-up after Joey goes to bed. There's all kinds of different ways to look at it. And if we can have a healthy synergy where work is getting enough attention, we're getting our things done, family is getting enough attention, and
Attention.
we're having the connection there. That's just a kind of a different way to look at it. It seems to be helpful for a lot of people I've talked with, is get away from work-life balance, because a lot of people view balance as a static point. But even, I know you can only see me from the shoulders up here,
Yeah.
so I'm standing on one leg. There's still a lot of really small movements going on to
Yeah.
keep me balanced.
Balanced.
So
Yeah.
it's not a static point. If we try to chase that static point, we're setting ourselves up for failure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wake up at 5 every day. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I am by far the most productive between 5 until lunchtime.
Yeah.
So I do a lot. Like I could finish a whole day's work like within those 3, 4 hours.
That's
in the
wonderful.
morning. I don't know, like then, yeah, but I also like to take a break. So is that a good way of, I don't have little children anymore, but my son is a big boy right now,
Right.
but still I've got businesses that I run. Still I'm on a full-time job,
Right.
and with all this stress of the lockdowns and things like that. So I make time, at least an hour and a half every day to go out and walk in nature.
That's
Is that so?
wonderful.
I'm doing a good job, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's different, and you have to
Yeah.
figure out what's important to you, what's
Yeah.
going to meet your needs, what's going to fill your cup first.
Yeah.
Because when you take care of yourself, then everybody gets the best version of you. You
Yeah.
have to be rested, you have to sleep enough, you have to eat real food, and you have to drink enough water.
Yeah.
Then you can start to meet the needs of other people. And
Yeah.
one thing to share with this community, and I will answer your question, I'm not avoiding it. I love
I
always
know.
supporting stories, but
Uh,
for anybody that feels like they're out of control of their time or out of control of their stress, what I want you to do is start with 1% of the day, which if we have 24
of
hours,
course.
1 hour is 4% of the day. So what I want you to do is gift yourself 15 minutes. So 1% of the day comes out to between 14 and 15 minutes, but I'm going to round up to 15 because you're worth it. So
Yeah.
taking 1% of the day for number one and doing something that makes you happy or doing something that you want to do. And this is not a time to catch up on email because, oh, I'll feel better when I'm caught up on email. It's do something intentional for you. This is coloring, if this is going for a walk, if it's watching something really funny on YouTube that gives you those belly laughs, like you can
Yeah.
do all kinds of different things. Gift yourself just 15 minutes, even just 1%. Start there, start with 1% of the day. And then you're going to see that that positive leverage impacts the other 99% in a big way.
Hmm.
So for a lot of people, if they don't feel like they're in control, just there's step one, just start there and then build up to an hour and a half of
Absolutely.
strolling in the
Yeah,
woods every
just
day.
like
That,
mine. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Just
right.
yeah. You can increase it, like you
Absolutely.
said. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Gabby, to
That's
answer your question,
question.
so I got away from trying to design a perfect day and I got into designing an ideal week. And I wanted to share that with everybody because I'm in now month 3 of that and it's really, really wonderful. I'm getting more done. I'm getting more rest. Everything is working. So for me, I'm an entrepreneur. So I
Yeah,
do have the ability to dictate my entire schedule.
yeah.
And then the second layer of that is availability for meetings. So what, for any other entrepreneurs that are listening to this, that was one of the big 3 reasons you started your own business, was to have some control of your time.
Yes.
So for me, what I'm finding to work is management Mondays. I have no availability on via Calendly for appointments on Mondays,
Okay.
where for the first 3 hours, I go play. I go out in nature. Because
On a
oftentimes,
Monday?
on Monday morning, and I'm
Okay,
on the
that's
East Coast like you, so we also have a 3 hour jump on most people that
uh-huh.
are, over on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But I go out and I fill my cup first. I go have some fun. I get my dose of nature. I prime my week for success by doing something that I want to do.
Okay.
Then on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I have plenty of availability on Calendly for people to book
Mm-hmm.
with some kind of, I'm going to give a shout out to Katie Jeffcoat right here because she came up with the term intentional margins. So little breaks throughout in the day, and you can
Mm-hmm.
design this in Calendly. So
Okay.
that way you
Block
protect your
them. You
time.
block those
You can
times.
block off those times where
Okay.
you set your own availability.
Yeah.
So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm available for sales calls, for speaking engagements, for connection calls, for a virtual cup of coffee with somebody amazing like yourself.
Thank
And
you.
then Fridays, I have just as follow-up Fridays. Again, no available appointments booked, and it's just follow-up. It's reaching out to people. And the reason I created it like this was I got quiet with myself and I thought about like, where is the best use of my time? And I start with that positive, and I seem to say Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, people are productive, people are focused. If we had to use stereotypes, Mondays, people are manic, people are kind of crazy, people are coming off of the weekend. And then
Yeah.
by Fridays, they can have decision fatigue or they're checked out or can we push this to next week? And if we can eliminate some of that shuffle and just focus on the middle of the sandwich, which is where the most work is being done,
Done.
I,
Yeah.
increased my availability a bit on those 3 days, cut availability Monday and Friday. And absolutely, if somebody wants to do a one-off meeting, or if I have to follow up with somebody, that's why I have Fridays available, and I can make those times on my terms. Same
Okay.
with Monday. If I need to do a quick call with somebody for 10 or 15 minutes, great. Can you do Monday at 10? Because in my head, I know it's available. And setting that up and setting those boundaries right out of the gate, number one, helps you. And number two, shows that you're an authority to say, great, you can reserve a time for us on my calendar here.
Yeah.
And you can gift that person presence and being fully engaged with that, and not scrambling and not looking at the clock to say, oh my goodness, I have another call in 5 minutes. I need to, close the sale, or I need to get this person off of the phone, because you can build in buffer zones right in
Yeah.
Calendly
Yeah.
to say, for another 20 minutes after this appointment ends, I'm not available. And that's for sending follow-up notes, or if the person needs an additional 5 minutes on the phone, we can come from that place of calm and get so much more done. And
Absolutely.
also having those buffers really helps, because those boundaries allow for only the important things to fit
Yeah.
into that sandbox or into that
That
puzzle.
is the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Right.
Yeah.
So it forces you to say, I don't want to have virtual coffee with anybody and everybody. I want to have virtual coffee with the right people.
Yeah.
I want to be, getting on the phone with the right companies that can bring me in as a speaker. I want to get, not because your time is the only finite resource, and your time is valuable, especially if you're an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
where, you don't have a salary. It's based on
Yeah.
performance.
Exactly.
So you need to set those boundaries for yourself. So for
Yeah.
me, management Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, fully available, firing on all cylinders. And then it's Friday follow-up. And I found that that's really helpful for my energy, for my rest, for my recovery, for my performance. And it's working. I love that. So I just want to share that with everybody.
Oh my goodness, I love that, Ryan, because I've never really heard of that Monday portion, because you were so right. People are not happy on a Monday morning, especially people who have to go to work. So I used to take the train. I don't drive because downtown is crazy. So
Okay.
I take the train, and that is the only place I used to call my sanity place, because that's the only place where there is nobody calling my name or
Right.
needing anything. So I like to read, as you know. So I
Sure.
have a book,
Right.
going to work and coming back. Anyway, every Monday morning, Ryan, you would look at these people on the train. Each and every one of them is ready to kick somebody. That's
Yeah.
how angry they feel. That's how unhappy they are. And I'm always happy. Like, I never really felt, oh man, oh, tomorrow is Monday, I gotta go to this job again. I have been lucky that way. And I don't believe in starting your week in negativity, but like,
Right.
people every Monday are so upset, so unhappy. And come look at them on a Friday morning. The Friday morning, the train is full of smiles. Like,
Right.
everybody is smiling on a Friday morning. So I like the fact that the way you program, the way you organize yourself to have that Monday morning, because I don't
Right.
think people would be in a good mood to listen or to do unless they are entrepreneurs like you. So I like that. So what about Saturday and Sunday? Do you ever do any work on the weekend?
I sometimes will do a little bit, but it's not structured where it's, every single Saturday. Our
Yeah.
son is 5 years old now. He's into T-ball and everything. So,
Oh,
I do my best to really, family is the priority on Saturdays and
absolutely.
Sundays.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, for everybody that's listening, I just want to share another thing that I share in the corporate speaking world is, for its first 500 years of use, priority was a singular word,
Yes.
and it still is.
Yeah.
But in the research, it wasn't until the early 1900s that we started to see priorities showing up, which prior means the first, if
The
we go back
first.
to
Yeah.
the root.
Yeah.
So somewhere in the early 1900s, somebody tried to bend reality and have more than one first thing.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
we wonder why we're busy and not productive. And we wonder why we're scattered. And we're wondered why we don't have clarity, because we have 5 or 6, and I'm using air quotes for anybody listening, priorities, which in itself is very ironic, because it's not possible to have more than one priority.
Hmm.
Think of when you're driving your car, for anybody that still drives a stick shift. you can only be in one gear at a time. You
Yes.
can't be in third gear and reverse and second.
Yeah.
You can only be in one gear at a
That's a
time.
nice way of putting it, Ryan. I like that.
Yeah. So we
Mhm.
have to be intentional with having, this is my priority for the week, or this is my priority for the day, or this is my priority right now.
Right now.
And everything gets easier when you have like an endpoint or a focus. Instead of us just being busy and crazy and
Busy.
make
Yeah.
a millimeter of progress in every single direction versus this is where I'm going. I have this clarity. I have this awareness of this is what I'm focused on. Right
Hmm.
now it's T-ball time. It's
Yeah.
not time to check Facebook or check email or check, different things or stock market or ESPN. It's right now it's T-ball time with
I
my
know.
son.
Yeah. Excellent. So you're right, because I used to write like a dozen things every day that I needed to do. And then for years ago, and then years ago, and then what I found is when I didn't accomplish all of the whole page, I get upset. Like I feel like I haven't accomplished anything. Even if I did half of them, that should be like a great accomplishment.
Right.
But now with all the leadership training, with all the stuff that I have been doing, I call, for me, it is the power of five. I write them at night.
Yeah.
I really focus and think tomorrow things that I must do, or the people that I must call, or
Right.
whatever. Five,
Yeah.
period. Then it's easy to do the five things rather than having a dozen or a dozen and a half list to do. So I
Right.
really like the prioritizing thing. And then sometimes I finish those five and I do another five more. There are days
Right.
that are extremely productive, right?
Yeah.
And there are days that are like slow, or you're tired, you don't feel like talking to anybody, you just need a break. You just finish those five and you take the rest of the day off.
Right.
Um, Talking about time management, what is your advice to people who are spending a lot of time on social media and then complaining that they don't have time? I'm having a bit of I hear that a lot. Okay, then if you don't have time to do this or to call that person, why are you on Facebook and Instagram all day long? So
Right.
what's your advice on that?
Sure. So you can go into your phone in the settings
Yeah.
and set time parameters. You can set a time limit for how
Yeah.
much time you use that app.
Okay.
And social media is designed to be addictive, and it's designed to keep you
It
on there
is.
and
It
coming
is.
back for more. There's a reason notifications are red bubbles and not blue or green or yellow. They're red. So your eyes go right to them.
Yeah.
So I would say for people that are finding themselves or catching themselves on social media too much, number one, set a time limit for how much time you're there. Number two, go into the settings, go to your notifications, and turn off all notifications on social media. None of that is urgent.
Exactly.
None of that is urgent. My phone is only allowed to make a noise if I get a phone call or a text message. Other than that, I get no pings for emails or likes or comments or shares or Instagram different things or LinkedIn articles. That's on my terms when I want to go in and look at that, not
Hmm.
the phone dings and I have my gerbil reaction and I
You
go for the
have to
piece of
go. Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah.
That's not right. That's, we're dealing with an old operating system here between our ears,
Yeah.
and we can't keep up with this. This
I
is,
know.
you
It is
know,
so much.
this is, you know, eons beyond where we are. So we need to be intentional with how we're using those platforms, how we're using those devices. So set up a time limit for yourself. And there's a button that's available, snooze, hey, I need 5 more minutes on here,
Yeah.
or okay. And it just shuts the app off.
Okay.
That seems to be really helpful. There's even an area in your phone that you can look at usage to say over the course of last week, how much time did I spend here? And for a lot of
Okay.
people, their eyes pop out of their head to say, wait, this isn't right.
I know.
But it is, every time we are sitting in a waiting room or sitting in the bathroom or,
Yeah.
eating our lunch, we're mindlessly scrolling there.
Yeah.
It's important to be aware of how much time we're doing. And it's important for us to stay in control of our time and our emotions. And we've seen a lot, this could be a 2-hour discussion in itself. Let's say over the last 5 years, social media has been a little bit more stressful.
Yeah.
I'm here in the United States, but I think the whole world's been looking at us for the last 5 years.
Oh, yes.
Social media has really been a big factor into that. of, you know, the stress and the division and the friction. You know, there's so
Yeah,
much there. It's a
the
great tool to
politics.
connect, but there was a lot of people using it for division.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So one of the things that I have started to do is when people post like negative stuff or arguments or something in
Hmm.
politics, for example, or whatever it is that they want, they put videos, they put this. Number one, I would send them a message, just so not to be rude, like send them a message on Messenger. Please, I would appreciate it if you don't tag me on message like that. I really don't
Yeah.
want to see or hear any negativity. If they do it again, I have no patience anymore, Ryan. I'm way too old for this crap, so I just unfriend, unfriend them, unfriend. Then, so now I have um, people who are all positive,
There you go.
who don't discriminate, at least from my knowledge so far, like people who
Sure.
don't spread hate or spread negativity. So that is the kind of people I have. So that's what I tell people when they complain, when I do coaching, and I tell, why are you putting up with it? This
Right.
person is driving you nuts, just unfriend them, period, or block them altogether.
Right.
So, and then just keep the people that matter, like that spread love, that spread positivity.
Right.
And so
You're in
I,
control of your reality. It's a few
exactly.
clicks away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So when it comes to the ping thing, for me, it is text, obviously. My phone would ring, obviously, but text and email. I live by my emails, Ryan.
Okay.
And text. I live by those two, but I don't get ping for notification, Messenger, WhatsApp, and all that stuff, or Telegram now.
Right.
I don't get notifications, so I try to check them once a day. Yeah, because I have a lot of family who are in Europe, and
Sure.
yeah, so I get to see if they sent me anything. We talk once a week because,
That's
but
nice.
so I check once a day. I go through them, take my time, and but no notification, no nothing. So I agree with you. So for those, especially now for those families who are struggling, that the kids are not going to school. I don't know if you guys are open, but we're not. Like, for example, the kids are all at home on
Right.
their laptop studying from home, right?
Hmm.
And then the husband and wife are working from home. What advice would you give these people? The stress is unbelievable. I know it's good, people are spending time with their families more than they ever did in a long time because of this lockdown. But like, let's say a family has 3 kids, and the three have their own laptops, they're studying online, and sometimes they would need help, and you got to watch also they don't fool around, they really are like studying. And then the husband and wife, or like there are a lot of single moms also who do that, are also on another laptop, they're working, and then they have to cook at the same time, they have to do this.
Right.
Just what would your advice be,
Well, on the
just to
technology,
release that stress? Yeah.
yeah, on the technology end, having the screens shut down by 7 or 8 o'clock, you know, whatever works for your family based on bedtime, would be important.
Yeah.
Plus, like I talked about with those time boundaries with my week, if I know I only have access to the laptop until 8 o'clock, I'm going to do the important things and I'm going to get them done.
Yeah.
So having an endpoint is important. And oftentimes with our son, so yeah, since the pandemic hit, when the pandemic hit, before the pandemic hit, we always wanted and asked for more time with the family.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
pandemic hit, and then we got all the time with the family,
Yeah.
which is different from more.
Yeah.
We got all the
All
time
the
with the
time.
family.
Yeah.
So it's important to celebrate each other and celebrate what each person wants to do. So sometimes my wife and I will put down our phones and we'll say, Cole, what do you want to do? We're all yours for the next 20 minutes. We can do anything. You want to do dinosaurs, you want to do Legos, you want to do Nerf, you want to run outside. Like, what do you want to do? And it's fun because he has our full attention.
Tension.
And for that connection is amazing. And sometimes we create our own games, or we'll play, basketball and soccer. Like, you have to score a basket and then you have to kick a goal. So we've created all kinds of fun and goofy things, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what he's going to remember,
Yeah.
was that specific intentional time together.
Yeah.
Same with my wife. Like when I can put my phone down, like, great, sweetie, what can we do together? What can I do for you? What do you want to do right now? Like
Do
anything
you
goes.
help cooking?
I do. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We have fun with that. We do it together, and, we'll come up with some different things. And we have one of those instant pots. It's like a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
So we're starting to experiment with a little bit of stuff there as well.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, because that is good, especially for winter.
Right.
You do like the soups, and you can do a big one and it would last you
Right.
2 or 3 days. Like I used to
Right.
love crock pots. Now it's just me and Mikey, so it's too big for a family of two. But yeah,
Yeah. You can
that's
freeze
that. So
some.
that's
Yeah.
what you advise them, because like the number of stress and the fact that they don't have the me time up until all the kids go to sleep. By that
Hmm.
time, everybody is so exhausted, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then don't forget, your son is 5 right now, right?
Right.
Wait until he gets to 12, 13. It's all about video games.
Yeah, we understand that he's growing up in a digital age. My wife and
Yeah.
I were, born before computers, before the internet. So we had our childhood before that, but we kind of also saw the onset of it and we developed with it. There's a
Hmm.
lot of kids out there that have never gone without any of
Yeah.
that, or they just know that as reality. For us it was like, oh man, Nintendo, like
Yeah.
Donkey Kong and Mario, like this is
Yeah.
cool, this is cutting edge stuff. And
Yeah.
you look at it now compared to the video games of earlier, it's a quantum leap different.
Yeah.
There's no end to a lot of the games, which
Oh
makes it
my
again very
God.
different,
Yeah.
because you could sit down and play Mario for, 45 minutes and beat the game and be done with it, or hit the pause button. For some of these
Yeah.
games there is no pause button, there's no
Yeah.
end to it. It's just, you just do it again.
I know.
So they're very different. So we do have one of those little Amazon Kindles for them, and every once in a
Hmm.
while, if we're on a long road trip, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Or my wife is a teacher, so she got this
Oh.
ABC mouse program, so there's some educational puzzles and math and
Yeah.
colors and all kinds of different stuff on there. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're very
Nice.
blessed. He's a smart little kid, and we want him to know how to use that, because that's going to be a big part of his life.
Oh
But
yeah.
we don't want it to be the focus.
Yeah.
And I've seen some other kids get into that, and I
Yes.
understand it. I mean, it's super engaging for your brain,
Yeah.
and you
It's
have
the
all those hits, all those happy chemicals coming in, because
I
it's
know.
all the flashing colors and the shiny metals and the instant gratification and the
Yeah.
pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and the fantasy. Like, it's fun. Like, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Like, I
Yeah.
grew up watching Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and
Hmm.
there's Star Wars games out there now that I would like to play. It's just not the priority for me.
Yeah.
So I haven't
Oh.
had a game since an old Nintendo in the, we'll say, in the 1900s. But I'm sure at some point we'll have one of the newer systems.
Yeah.
But I understand it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to get in, some of these games, there's 40, 70 hours to get through the game.
I know. My
That's
goodness,
not a
it
priority
becomes
for
an
me right now.
addiction, for these kids. Some of them are simply addicted. They can't finish to get
Yeah.
off that school online so that they could get into the game. So
Right.
yeah, it's the shooting, the killing that I don't like, Ryan. Ugh,
Right.
yeah, it's not nice. Anyway, but yeah, but that's there is a process at each age
Sure.
group. There is something new that comes up. So yeah, I'm sure he's gonna do fine with a dad like you and your parents like you. So he's gonna do
Well, thank you.
fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what would your last advice be to everybody, to parents, to people on a job, for entrepreneurs, when it comes to um, time management and releasing the stress, the daily stress?
Yeah. I would
Well,
say simplification is really the answer for a lot of people. A
mhm.
lot of people view the answer as more things, more of this, more of that. But maybe we need to shift a little bit to the quality. Maybe we need to say, what can we have less of, but have a better experience with? And there's a book I'll recommend to everybody, Essentialism, by Greg McCowan. I can send you the link as well.
Okay,
And it's all about, it's kind of like decluttering for your head.
for
So
your
I
head,
know
okay.
you're big on that. And
Yeah,
if you're, it's like your closet of your head.
yeah,
There's constantly people jamming more clothes in there. You need to have a system to simplify that. a
Yeah.
system to get rid of some of those.
Yeah.
So it's what in
Declutter.
your life can you simplify? What in your business can you simplify? Because it's easy to complicate things, and it's easy to add more things or subscribe to this and buy that, and the happiness is not going to come from the third car. It's going to
Yeah.
be using the current car for what you want to do with it and the experiences that you want to have.
Yeah.
And it's where can you simplify in your life to slow down a little bit, because the more things we have, the more that they own us, and the more things that we commit to, that's all costing us time. And again, we have
Exactly.
16 hours every day.
Time and
So,
money too.
right, time and money and stress. So we need to be aware of how we're investing that, spending that, or wasting that.
Yeah.
It's really boils back to how do we want to spend that time? How do we get to spend that time? That's important as well.
Yeah.
Instead of we have to get to T-ball, it's we get to go to T-ball today. Little shift, huge outcome difference. We
Yeah.
get to go to T-ball today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. And then I think you and I talked a while back, I think, about asking for help
Right.
or
Yeah.
delegation, like
Yes.
delegating. Yeah.
Delegation is very important as
Yeah.
well. When our son was first born, I had just purchased a brand new vehicle like 2 or 3 months beforehand, and
Hmm.
it came with 3 oil changes and tire rotations.
Okay.
So I kind of got used to that. All right, every 5,000 miles, I was like, all right, just pull it in here to the shop. They do it, and I'm on my way. So it came time for the fourth one, and I grew up changing my own oil, rotating my own tires. So I always had that mentality of, having somebody else do it. That was just an expense. But the priority shifted when I had a newborn at home. So I just happened to be in that area where the dealership was. So I pulled and I said, what is it for an oil change? And $67 plus tax. Ugh. I know I
Hmm.
could do it for cheaper than that in the garage.
Hmm.
So I said, all right, well, just do it. Just take care of it for today, and then I'll figure it out for the next time. So I'm sitting there in the waiting room, and I'm working on my laptop. I'm getting work done, and while I'm there, I go to stretch my back a little bit, and I look over, and there's a sign on the wall that says, "Ask about bulk oil changes and tire rotations in a package." I said,
Okay.
"I can listen to instructions." I walked over to the service desk. I said, "What does that mean?" They said,
Hmm.
"Well, if you buy 3 at a time, you get a discount. You just have to use them within a year." So, all right, I'm doing 15,000 every year. What does that cost? $99. Okay. So now for $33, I have somebody else changing the oil, disposing of the old oil, taking big heavy,
The filter too,
doing
right?
the filters, doing the big heavy wheels and tires, plus it's 5 because it's a Jeep. So I use the spare. And there's an expert doing a 27-point safety check on the vehicle, looking at stuff I probably would have missed because I'm not
Hmm.
a mechanic.
Yeah.
And I get to stay in the waiting room working, doing my contribution to the world, staying in my expert zone. So that way that expert gets to do what he is an expert in, I get to do what I'm an expert in, and everybody wins. And it saves me a
Exactly.
bunch of time, and it saves me getting filthy dirty, because going to the auto parts store, I priced it out, it was going to be like $47
Yeah.
just for the materials.
Yeah.
Plus I had to do all the time of everything else.
Yes.
So it's where in your life can you delegate something? That's an easy one. And so much of it comes down to mindset as well. For a lot of people, they say, well, I don't want to have a landscaper come cut my grass. I just want to do it myself. And that makes sense if it takes you 20 minutes with a push mower or something. But for a lot of people, the amount of time and energy and money
Energy.
it takes to maintain your own grass versus having somebody come in may cost you a little bit more money, but it's going to save you an enormous amount of time, an
Time. Yeah.
enormous amount of stress, and the sharpening of those blades. Unless you're one of those people that loves cutting their grass and loves that instant gratification, and
Yeah.
I have lots of friends that are like that. If that's your thing, that's fine. But if it's not, delegate that out.
Yeah.
I could have taken the time to go on YouTube and order the material and made this shirt, but I chose to go to the department store and buy it. Somebody else already made it. Somebody else shipped it to the store. All I have to
Yeah.
do is take it home, wash it, and put it on.
Yeah.
So that was something that was delegated, but as a society, we view that as just, oh, that's a norm. It's what else can you delegate? A lot of people are shopping from home, doing online shopping.
Yeah.
save the expense of driving out to the store, trying different things on, driving back and forth, or getting it at a lower price. And there's less of an environmental impact because it's in a big vehicle making a bunch of deliveries
Yeah.
instead of you driving all the way to the store and all the way back.
Yeah.
So what can you delegate out there? I'm seeing a lot of these food services coming up now, Uber Eats or HelloFresh. Here's the grocery bag. All you have to do is cook it.
Yeah.
They've done the work of gathering the right things in the right quantities. All you have to do is cook it.
Yeah.
So it's where in your life can you simplify and delegate so that way you can stay in your zone and you spend your time how you need to and want to.
Yeah, and ask for help if needed.
Right.
There are a lot
Right.
of people who are willing to help, whether it's your parents with the kids or,
Yeah.
some friends to do something for you, like, ask for help. Don't be shy. So yeah, so this is great.
Yeah. Getting away from them. And
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah,
getting away from that mentality of like, I can do everything myself. I have to
self.
do everything myself. Like, we are community creatures as human
Exactly.
beings.
Yeah.
Community and opposable thumbs is what separates us from pretty much everything else on this planet that
Yes.
enabled us to get to where we are. So lean on community, be a part of a community, share your gift so
Yeah.
somebody else can share theirs.
There's with you. Absolutely. Oh my God, incredible. That was such an amazing conversation. So I am gonna go ask you a couple of questions, non-related. That was an amazing. So I'm gonna be posting this and all your bio, your social media links, and you have something you said for, what did you say? Links that you were gonna,
Sure. So I created a smarter to-do list.
okay.
So a lot, like we talked about with to-do
Yeah.
lists, I didn't want to interrupt your flow, but a lot of people have a lot of different lists that
Yeah.
never get done. So when I was with a client at one point, she was just feeling very overwhelmed with, I have all these things on my to-do list. And I said, all right, cool. Let's simplify it. Let's split it out. So we created the whole list. We did a big mental dump. And then we figured out, all right, what is urgent? What is not urgent? And then we used another lens to say, what is a want and what is a need? And then we were able to split it into those 4 quadrants and say, oh, okay, yeah, I would feel a lot better if I did those 3 things. That would make everything else on this list easier.
Easier. Okay.
So I wanted to share that with everybody. So I sent you the PDF for that. I can set up a
Okay.
link as well. So
Okay.
people can download that, do that mental dump, and
Mhm.
then sort it of, is this a need or a want? Is this urgent or not urgent? And I made it
Yeah.
very, very time easy on you for, noting different things. You create a top 8 and think about how it's going to feel when you accomplish that.
Yeah.
And I can also share, so this is something that I learned from Jake when we do the conferences. So we often will do a 2-day intensive working on our business. And he shared with us the idea of a mental parking lot. So if you're going in to learn something, you're going in to focus on a project, but there's a lot of stuff bouncing around in your head,
Yeah.
I created just a printable worksheet for a mental parking lot. And
Okay, I like that. My God, I'm gonna have to use that myself. A mental
yeah,
parking lot. I like the title of it.
right. One side is short-term parking, like when you go to the airport, like these are short-term things that need to get out of my head and onto paper. And then the other
Yeah.
side is long-term parking. This is
Okay.
an idea I have that, maybe for the fall.
Yeah.
It's getting it out of your head and putting it on paper,
Yeah.
and then having that instant gratification of being able to cross it off. There's a
Yeah.
lot to that. I encourage
Yeah.
everybody to walk around with an index card, and I do it on my Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays as well,
Yeah.
where I have my schedule written out so I can cross off each appointment,
Yeah.
because most of it is on my Calendly. Sometimes I'll book with other people on their Calendly, so I don't want to miss anything. And then on
Yes.
the flip side, like you said, you have your 5. I have, these are my top 3 things that I need to get done today.
Yeah.
And when get that graphite onto the
Oh
index
my God,
card,
it's
and
such an
and
accomplish. You feel so good when you
yeah,
just
when we
yeah.
have those frequent small wins, it really
Yeah.
helps your momentum.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, Ryan, thank you so much for all the wisdom, for all the advice and the tips. And yeah, let's just change gears here before we finish this call. So I have, if you had to visit 3 countries before you die, what countries would they be? Only 3 you're allowed.
Ireland,
Okay.
Australia,
Uh-huh.
and
Ireland, Australia.
somewhere down in South America. What country is it that has oh my goodness, Patagonia? Which country is that in?
Caledonia?
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Caledonia, that should be in Caledonia. Isn't that in,
Oh
not too
yeah,
far from Spain?
Patagonia is the giant park.
No,
That is in, let me go here. Oh my goodness. Where is Patagonia? Argentina. There we go.
okay, so Argentina.
Right.
Okay. What
All
was
right.
the
That's going to be
park's
my
name?
third.
What was the first name that you mentioned?
Ireland, Australia, and then I'm going to be going to, whoop,
So this
and
place would,
Argentina for Patagonia,
okay,
a beautiful nature preserve.
okay. Oh, nice choice. Great choice. Okay, so I haven't been to any of those, so me too. I would love
Okay.
to be there.
Well, thank you
Anyway,
for the clarity. Now I know where I'm going for
I
the third one.
know. I know. Okay, so if you have one dream that you would love to fulfill before you die, one dream, one thing that you really love to do and you haven't been like something like inside, it's like you're passionate about, you want to fulfill before you die, what would it be?
I want to canoe in Lake Moraine up in Canada. You know, this
Okay.
is very big on, it's in Banff Park.
Yeah, yeah.
Very big on Instagram. You always see the people with their golden retrievers in their canoe. I want to do that. The water looks epic. You're right at the foot of these huge mountains.
Oh
So
my God, yeah,
I would
it's
love to do a trip up to there as well. And I realize that that's another place,
mm-hmm.
but having that experience of just paddling in a canoe with my family, and you know, at some point I would love to have a golden retriever. You know, that's really high on the list, as
High
well as
on the
jumping a
list.
monster truck. So if anybody here listening has access to a monster truck, please reach out to me because that's a bucket list item.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's amazing. Thank you so much. I am so honored that you're like my guest today. We learned a lot from you, and I'm sure hopefully a lot of people were gonna get in touch with you and use the PDF documents that you just shared. I'm gonna be adding them both on YouTube and on my Podbean on my podcast. So thank you so much,
Thank you, Gabby. I
and
appreciate you.
blessings. Take care. Okay.
Wonderful. Have a nice
Okay,
day.
guys. So wishing you grace, peace, and balance. Stay safe.